Havia uma ideia.
Pô, cara, de novo!
De reunir um grupo de pessoas extraordinárias.
E ver se poderíamos nos tornar algo mais.
Bem, eu acho que eu acabei empolgando demais nessa introdução aqui. Só pra deixar bem claro, o vídeo vai ser em inglês. Então vocês podem ficar aí que o vídeo vai ser em inglês, só a introdução que tá sendo em português. E pode ficar tranquilo que o vídeo vai ser em inglês. Você tá entendendo, Lucas? Tá entendendo? Tá difícil pra você? Você quer que eu desenhe pra você, Lucas? Tá difícil aí? Então é isso aí, pode começar o vídeo aí. Só que é um vídeo em inglês, tá? Tá, entendeu, Lucas? É em inglês, entendeu?
Você tá entendendo, Lucas?
Welcome back, my dear player. Today we're going to talk about a game about an evil stuffed animal that chased a child in their house. Mr. Hopp's Playhouse. Without further ado, let's dive into the world of Mr. Hopp's Playhouse and explore the canonical games. Developed and distributed by Moonbeat, this indie survival horror game series has become a hit among horror game fans. With 3 canonical games and 2 non-canonical games, as well as an animation, in this video we will be focusing on the canonical Mr. Hopp's games. I will talk about the second game of the trilogy. So buckle up and prepare to face our fears. Let's start from the chronological beginning of the trilogy, that is, from the second game. It takes place in 1952 in a Blacklands orphanage. In the game, we follow a little girl named Esther who wakes up in the middle of the night and walks through the house, until she encounters a huge shadowy rabbit that chases and captures her. She then has a traumatizing vision of a girl being burned alive. Esther wakes up scared. It was all a terrible nightmare. After waking up, her friends Isaac and Molly asked if she had nightmares again, suggesting that it wasn't the first time. But the conversation is interrupted by the arrival of the governess with a box of toys, and each child picks a toy for themselves. Isaac and Molly got 2 animal dolls and named them Mr. Stripes and Miss Bull, while Esther got a rabbit that she named Mr. Hopp. At night, Esther had another nightmare where she was chased by a monstrous version of Mr. Hopp while collecting 6 medallions that contained incomprehensible symbols. At some point, she is stuck in a loop, passing through the same corridor multiple times, and every time she passes, something changes, telling a gruesome history of what happened in the orphanage many years ago. The painting tells the history of a girl who lived in the same orphanage. Resentful for various reasons, she made a pact with an entity that gave her a necklace with 6 medallions, guaranteeing her power in exchange for her soul. When this was discovered, the girl was accused of witchcraft and burned alive. The entity then came to collect the debt and began to rule over her soul. During the game, we find documents in the orphanage that tell us more about this entity. She was once considered the guardian of hope, but due to her greedy actions, her power was limited and she was banished by higher divinities to the underworld. Over the years, she became known in various cultures as the embodiment of evil. To aid her in her mission, the entity created 3 helpers in the form of dolls. She did this as a means to reach people. These were Miss Bow, Mr. Stripes, and Mr. Hopp. The entity used the dolls to capture people, take them to the underworld, and turn them into slaves. Waking up from this nightmare, Esther realizes that Molly and Isaac are missing and sets out to look for them. She is stopped by a caregiver who says that her friends must be hiding as part of a game and instructs her to go to bed. However, during the night, Esther is awakened by the voices of her friends calling for her help. After searching, Esther discovers that they are locked in a closet. Esther then goes in search of the keys, which are in the governor's room, but she sees strange things along the way. Upon unlocking the closet, she discovers that her friends are possessed, and suddenly the governess closes the door, saying that Esther shouldn't be there, and locks Esther in a cell in the basement. In the middle of the conversation, a giant hand of Mr. Hopp appears, grabbing the governess and pulling her into darkness,
Miss Beverly?
dropping the key to the cell. Esther grabs the key with a loose pipe and escapes from the cell.
Thank goodness. Now, if I can just get back to bed, I can wake up from all of this.
However, as she reaches the upper floors, she comes across the empty orphanage. Esther tries to reach her bed.
It's not real.
While she was heading to her home, Esther encounters a girl named Dee, who tells Esther that it wasn't a dream and that the place was being haunted by a demon. Dee tells Esther that they need to perform a ritual to remove the demon from the orphanage and bring everyone back. She asks Esther to gather items for the ritual. So Esther begins searching for the items while the three cursed toys are loose in the area. After finding the items, they start the ritual. However, upon completion, it was revealed that D is the entity in disguise and that the ritual only served to awaken Esther and make her possession easier.
Where am I?
Suddenly, Esther finds herself in a house in the future, where the first game takes place, 67 years after the events of the second game, in 2019. There she is guided by the spirit of the girl who made the pact with the entity.
Wake up, Esther. It's all just a dream, isn't it? You are perfect. What do you want from me? Play with us, Esther.
Esther ends up being captured by Mr. Hopp and the spirit of the girl, who tries to convince Esther to join her to the science purposes, because Esther is the perfect vessel. Esther refuses to join forces with the entity.
I feel it too. Your pain, your sadness, your torment. It burns within you. You belong with me. Abandoned and lost.
Afterward, Esther wakes up in the orphanage.
I don't know what's real and what isn't anymore. Esther.
And the spirit of the girl is also there. Suddenly, the entity reveals its true form and begins to chase Esther through the completely cursed orphanage, with the underworld bleeding with the helm of the living.
Where are you going? What about your friends? Won't you play?
The entity takes on various forms during the chase, but Esther eventually sees an exit and manages to escape the location. At last, that's what it seemed like. The entity catches up to Esther, and suddenly she is standing outside the orphanage in the rain. She looks down and sees Mr. Hopp. She stares at it and then says that he is a silly rabbit who will catch a cold in the rain, implying that she doesn't remember what happened.
Today marks 67 years since the disappearance of 24 orphaned children residing at Blacklands Manor, along with 5 care workers. To this day, this remains an active missing persons case and the largest in the country's history. Only one child was ever accounted for, but claimed to have no recollection of any other resident. Blacklands Manor was once a large orphanage home in the 1930s through to the 1950s, before...
This ending is considered the bad ending of Mr. Hobbs, and it is not the canonical one. Remember the medallions I mentioned before? Well, they are important in determining the game's ending. If you collect all the medallions, you can unlock the true ending. In this ending, after the encounter with the girl, Esther wakes up in the orphanage. As she tries to leave the room, the 6 medallions glow and fuse together, breaking through the floor and taking Esther to the underworld. With the power of the medallions, Esther manages to destroy the entity's slaves and delve deeper into the underworld. At a certain point, she encounters all the missing people for the orphanage.
Give yourself to us.
Suddenly, everyone disappears, and the entity takes the form of a 3-headed creature, represented by the 3 dolls it possessed. Esther, with the power of the medallions, manages to defeat the creature, which, weakened, transforms back into the spirit of the girl and tells Esther that she will not escape this. After the battle, all the children and caretakers are teleported back to the orphanage, but no one except Esther remembers what happened. 67 years pass, and this time the radio is silent. We see the necklace with the 6 medallions. On the table, there is a photo of Esther, Isaac, and Molly, a photo of Esther's family, and a birthday card made by her granddaughter, Ruby. An elderly and content Esther sits in her rocking chair until suddenly Mr. Hopp appears once again to haunt her, just as he said he would. There is no escape for Esther. With the conclusion of Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 2, there is much more to uncover in the other games, and I can't wait to share it with you. But before that, let's take a quick look at the 2 secret endings of this game. In one of them, Esther grabs a table and escapes over the wall. Esther decided that she had enough of this nonsense, so she ran and left it all behind for someone else to deal with. Smart girl. In the other ending, while Esther is in the basement, she grabs a crowbar, breaks through a cracked wall, and discovers a secret room. In the room, there are candles and the words "All Hail" written on the wall. Esther asked the mysterious magic shell what to do about the situation she was in, and it replied, nothing. Esther followed the instructions, for the shell had spoken.